Hey everyone, it's Coolkid here, back for another One Piece chapter review, chapter 1062. And well, I guess this is the first chapter review for the month of October, or Spooky Month. Actually, when I started to think about this new arc, it's actually kind of perfect for the Halloween season, especially an arc all about Vegapunk, or a mad scientist. It works pretty good. Well, not as good as Thriller Bark, but you know, this new arc isn't so bad. It actually works pretty good for the Halloween season. And actually, speaking of the Halloween season, or October, dude, I literally cannot wait for the return of Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War. It's coming so soon. It's coming this Monday, which at the time I'm recording this, it's literally 3 days left. Oh my god, I just can't wait to freaking watch that. I'm just so goddamn excited for that. Which, I guess I'll just say this here. Little mini update. I do plan to do a live reaction to the episode when it comes out on Monday, so stay tuned for that on Monday. But not just that, to the Runaway Warlords live reaction to the chapter. I'll be joining them there. Obviously, I've already read this chapter, but, you know, I like to, you know, see their reactions and everything, and, you know, I like to talk to them and jumping off points about certain things in this chapter. Unfortunately, because officially it's coming out on Monday for some goddamn reason. Yeah, it'll be on Monday, but it'll be later on in the day. Like, when I'm looking at this, it looks like my time zone, it's like 8 p.m. So what I would probably do is, like, go to their channel, go to upcoming live stream, and click the one for the One Piece 1062 live reaction, and, like, click the bell for that so you know when it comes out, even if it's pretty late. And I'm pretty sure Serene can't probably join because of time zone differences, but, you know, maybe he will, maybe he won't. It's just, well, something you just have to give a chance. But, yeah, I guess that's really it. So, let's get started with the chapter review. But, of course, as always, we must start with the cover page, where we are continuing the Germa 66 cover page series, volume 20. Meanwhile, in Chocolate Town on Cacao Island. Oh wow, I haven't seen this place in a while, and oh my god, it's frozen into a hellscape. I wonder who could have done that. Well, I think it's Aokiji, guys. I mean, that's what we're all thinking, because okay, I'm sure some of you might have forgotten about this, which I'm sure Oda was baking on, but those two mysterious people showed up at I believe it was Chocolate Town. Yeah, they showed up at Chocolate Town, and it's like, you are, and we didn't get nothing on that, and people were thinking, oh yeah, it's just the Germa, but that's what Oda wants you to think. We found out it from the looks of it. Aokiji. Very, very interesting. I mean, there is plenty of reason why Aokiji would come here, and I mean, also, before I get to that, I just want to say, could there be any other characters this could be? Not on top of my head, I can't really think. Aokiji's the only one who I can think who can turn to a frozen hellscape. I mean, I know Brook has ice powers and Yamato does, thanks to their devil fruits, but I mean, why would they go to, you know, Cacao Island? It kind of doesn't make any sense. So, Aokiji's the only one I can think of. And, like, I don't know. The mirrors I'm probably thinking of is, well, he's a part of Blackbeard's crew. Maybe it's not just Aokiji, but, because we saw, like, I guess, 2 people with, you know, 2 differently shaped feet. It could be Aokiji and, I don't know, whoever from the Blackbeard crew. Because on the raid on Amazon Lily, I think the only Titanic captains that we saw was, well, Blackbeard himself and just some random foot soldiers. oh no, wait, there was Vasco's shot, and God, I forgot her name. But I'll probably put it on screen who I'm talking about. But yeah, any one of the other ones it could be very interesting. I mean, why would they go to Cacao Island? Well, for obviously, I think just invading in general, just well, you know, the Big Mom's islands in general, they would be invading is one, to get the poneglyph. That's pretty obvious. Or two, well, I mean, Blackbeard sure does look for strong devil fruits. I mean, there's a good amount of devil fruits from, you know, Big Mom's crew that, well, Blackbeard could want for himself. So, maybe that's what they could be going for. How interesting. So, there's to that. But I think personally they're probably going to get the, you know, the poneglyph from Big Mom's poneglyph. Probably. And I mean, also this puts into question about, what about Aokiji? I mean, because like, a lot of people, like, I know would agree that Aokiji isn't really working for Blackbeard, but I mean, Blackbeard seems like he trusts him enough to go into Whole Cake Island, possibly steal the poneglyph or the etching or just something of that poneglyph and come back to him. I mean, fair enough assessment, I guess. And I mean, hey, look, Big Mom's there no more, so why would you not openly invade this new space? Makes perfect sense to anyone else, I guess. So, yeah, I guess that's really it. All I gotta say about that. But why don't we just continue on with the chapter? I guess it started with the chapter itself. So we continue off from last time with well, the rest of the group minus Luffy, Jinbei, Chopper, and Bonnie, meaning Vegapunk. But yeah, they're being like, wait a minute, what? You're Vegapunk? And she's like, what a farce. And dude, I love Frankie in this chapter, who is literally fanboying. He's like, oh man, Vegapunk, you're like my role model. I killed 2 years in your freaking hometown, Baltimore. After going through your lab, there was still a whole lot of stuff that I wasn't even able to look at. Very interesting detail, but yeah, it's a dream of it's a giant mecha of dreams. And we got freaking Usopp being like, oh my god, just how many times bigger is it than General Frankie that is? I can't wait to show this to Luffy and Chopper. And then, of course, Sanji is, well, simping, my boy. Of course. But Robin does mention the one thing we were all asking from last chapter. She's like, wait a minute, this is the first time I've heard of Vegapunk being a woman, and she looks far too young. Vegapunk has been active for many years. And she's like, naturally, who said this was the main Stella body? You're looking at Punk 2, Vegapunk Lilith. So, oh my god, okay, I do got a lot to talk about Vegapunk entirely and everything, but that's not until the end of the chapter because of shit happens a lot in this chapter. I'll just say this, put a pin at that, put a pin exactly what well, Lilith says. But yeah, she could do is like, in any case, we run through our research funds in a jiffy. So allow you to skedaddle if you just well, relinquish your valuables. And Nami's like, wait a minute, what? These Chili's bars are not enough without you being cold. You just fish us out. Wait, what rescue call you got this? And he's like, oh my god, this isn't a rescue call, you deaf. You're trespassing on these waters are nigh impossible. If you resist, they will sink you without question. And we just got a bunch of mechanical, well, not mechanical, I guess, mechanical hybrid, cyborg, yeah. A cyborg mechanical sea beast, which sometimes I kind of forget that you got shit like, freaking, was this? A giraffe, you got like this sea giraffe and a sea, is that chipmunk or whatever the fuck that is? A sea wolf? What the hell? Yeah, sometimes I forget that stuff just happens, but yeah, she's like, take a gander at my weaponized sea beast. And they all just pop out. And Frankie's like, oh my god, weaponized sea beast? That's rad! Meanwhile, Luke stops saying like, god, yeah, it's cool and all, but my fear is overwhelming me. I'm like, oh. And we just got a important look at, Zoro, who is being very calm during this, obviously. But unfortunately, Lilith gets a call? Yeah. Lilith gets a call from a mysterious someone. And they're like, Lilith, what are you doing? Why do you always insist on looting? Have some pride as a scientist. She's like, Shaka. Oh, you know what? I'll just use my stupid damn phone. Why not? Shaka, can you put a sock in it? Can your infernal pride keep the lights on? Then Shaka responds with, they're the Straw Hat Pirates, a newly debuted Emperor crew. They're not going to go down measly surrender. And she's like, precisely. They must have a heap of treasure stashed away. And he's like, even so, you made a foolish blunder. She's like, a foolish blunder? Look, I got them completely surrounded. And he's like, don't underestimate them. Look at the swordsman there. That's a pirate hunter Zoro. His bounty is 1.111 billion. And yet, you see how calm he is? He knows that you're in range for him and to end you in an instant. And that goes the same for the devil child, Nico Robin, back there. And she's like, even so, what can they do against all the sea beasts? And he's like, the strong can appraise their prey and prioritize the most essential targets first. You should have been more cautious. And she's like, wait a minute, those imbeciles lured me into a false sense of security? Confound it, how could I be so careless? And then we got Zoro being like, hey Vegapunk, there's something I want from you, so you better play nice. Got it? God, dude, Zoro's so cool in this chapter. And I guess the last thing from this section of the chapter, we get to see the backside of Shaka, or Punk 1. Dr. Vegapunk Shaka Logic. Put a pin to that stuff, or I'll be getting that towards the end of the video. But yeah, we get to see the behind of him, or the behind of his head, which he's wearing this helmet that kind of reminds me of Daft Punk. Huh. Very, very interesting. Actually, speaking of Daft Punk, I really do like the soundtrack to Tron Legacy. Look, dude, okay, I like Tron Legacy. I feel like I'm the only people who actually like that film, so I gotta interject that. However, and this is like the only time where it's somewhat natural, or it's not even natural. Just back to Shaka. He's like, bring them here, no matter what. I have an interest in that crew. Ooh, very, very interesting. So, yeah, I guess before moving on, I do want to put a pin, or not a pin, but talk about just real quickly what Zoro says. There's something I want from you, so you better play nice, guy. That is very interesting. What exactly would Zoro want? I'm trying to think about this. I'm having a hard time. The only thing I can think about is maybe the dragons on Punk Hazard. Either that, or maybe like a cure for the smile fruits, maybe? Yeah, maybe that. I mean, other than that, I really can't think of anything else, or unless if it's going to show in a flashback that something Jishigi mentioned. Maybe I don't know. That's something I can think of. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of people who are already thinking about something. It's like, oh yeah, this is what Zoro meant, and I'm just a foolish fool or whatever. But definitely an interesting point there. So yeah, continuing on the next scene, we go back with Luffy, Chopper, Jinbei, and Bonnie. And we got Luffy being like, so, you've been here before? And Bonnie's like, yeah, when I was a kid, it was still a pretty run-of-the-mill lab at the time throughout. So, how did you come back? Well, I came here for answers. I'll have that bastard's life if I don't like what I hear, huh? Vegapunk is the one who turned my dad into a cyborg. And Luffy's like, oh man, that sounds awesome. And she's like, it is not totally awesome. He completely lost sense of himself. He doesn't even know who he is anymore. He's nothing but a living weapon. So, okay, I do want to stop here to say that looks like we find out who, well, in what relation Kuma is to Bonnie. I don't know. I did hear some things people were contending, like, oh yeah, maybe Bonnie is Kuma's father, but no, it's the other way around. That well, Kuma is Bonnie's father. Very, very, very interesting. Actually, wait a minute. Bonnie did say she been on this island back in the day when it was nothing but a run-of-the-mill lab. Huh. Maybe. Actually, I wonder how long was Kuma in? Well, I guess part of the warlords. Because I don't know. I feel like something like this would probably have to happen before he got turned into a cyborg. How interesting. Okay, I might talk about this more later. Just something I thought off the top of my head. Yeah. See, things just happen. So yeah, meanwhile, we go Jinbei responding to all this. It's like, that's awful. That's just unforgivable. And Luffy's like, well, I'm sorry, Boogie. And she's like, it's Bonnie. Oh, yeah, Bonnie. So yeah, they climb a ladder out of this, I guess, underground little surface they were at. And, of course, Luffy's like, goodbye, guys. Let's track some grub. And meanwhile, Bonnie, who is thinking this, she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention I ran into Sabo. And I'll talk about it later. I mean, don't worry, Bonnie. I'm sure that, well, Sabo is in a completely different place that, well, you're thinking of. I mean, especially when he's, well, you know, 60 leagues below the sea. Whatever. And then we finally get to see the inside of Egghead Island, which, honestly, Egghead Island, the design of it kind of looks like a, well, retro futuristic style. Like it has a lot of bubbles and stuff, and a lot of, you know, rocket, aerocraft looking stuff in and around it. It just kind of reminds me of like retro futuristic kind of stuff, which thinking about it, I mean, I guess this fits the sci-fi of the One Piece world, which is also fantasy. But whatever. Yeah. And Luffy's like, oh my god, what's all this stuff? A giant robot and a space monster? Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention the goddamn giant robot and the goddamn space monster that, I don't know, kind of reminds me of Kaido, except if Kaido had like two giant eyes sticking out like a snail or whatever, but yeah, Luffy's like, oh man, this stuff is freaking crazy. And Luffy's like, well, I'll be back after taking one for a ride. And Bonnie's like, whoa, well, aren't we supposed to be infiltrating this place? So yeah, Luffy gums rocket up towards the giant dragon, and everyone, the dragon eats Luffy, and it's like, oh no, Luffy's been eaten! But nope, Luffy just passes right through this dragon. How mysterious. But yeah, how even Luffy's like, oh, man, I thought it got swallowed, but unfortunately that doesn't matter right now since Bonnie found a giant parfait. And of course, Luffy and her and Chopper, I guess, are like, oh my god, that giant parfait. It has cookies and fruits too, and just look at all that cream. Thanks for the bill. Meanwhile, Jinbei's like, yo, shouldn't you guys relax? Have you thought this might be a trap or anything? But yet again, they just passed through it. And obviously, someone like Luffy kind of doesn't really understand what the hell this is. They're like, man, I can pass through it, but I can't touch it. Man, what the hell's going on? Do we die or something? No way. Bonnie's like, no way, that can't be. I never seen one, but this must be a hologram, which I guess to especially Luffy, that concept's a little off from him, and Luffy's like, oh my god, what the hell is that? This pisses me off. And honestly, oh dude, man, he almost looks like he's starting to go into like gear 4th or maybe even gear 5th or something. And Bonnie explains it's like, yeah, it's a 3D image made of like, you see them in like comics and science fiction stuff, so it's just a dumb little image. But oh yeah, I guess that's why I went through that space monster. Yeah, that giant robot too. It must be made of something like that. Meanwhile, Chopper's like, wait a minute, what about this? There's buns with pictures on them. And Bonnie's like, just forget about it. This whole island is a shamble anyway. And then Jinbei mentions like, wait a minute, wasn't the seas around this island freezing? You expect this place to have a similar climate, but yeah, and then literally a giant two-haired girl comes in. It's like, actually, this is a winter island, but the environment is set to tropical mode here with my island aircon invention on Nator. I can specify and regulate the temperature of the area, right down to even the soil itself. And Luffy mentions, it's like, whoa, this one's big as Kaido. You're a hologram too, right? And Luffy hits her, I guess, her straight in the chest to see if it's a hologram. It isn't. So she's like, take this. And freaking clocks Luffy just straight into the face. And he accidentally hits the machine that Chopper was noticing earlier. And it just instantly pours out, well, the perfect, I guess, cheeseburger combo with medium fries and a soda, especially Vegapunk soda. So yeah, they get their combo meal, and Bonnie's like, wait a minute, this hamburger combo meal with drink and fries, it's real. You can touch it and everything. And they freaking start eating it. Like, oh my god, this is so good. Time to press all the buttons. With Luffy's like, let's get some steak, rice, tonkatsu. Well, tonkatsu. Chopper's like, ooh, kind of candy. Some cake. And Bonnie's like, oh, ramen. And fried chicken. And hot dogs. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad right now. Yeah. But, yeah, we got her, the unnamed girl for right now being like, oh yeah, well, at least you appreciate my work. That's the unmanned cooking device Nator. It could turn raw ingredients into one of 500 unique dishes under a minute. And oh my god, I think Bonnie in the background is just like, how about some pizza and pasta and chicken? And back to that girl, she's like, you can make what you got mode is the best, but I can't be happy since the lack of competent engineers mean that I can't even mass produce this bucket of bolts. God, why can't they just follow these damn blueprints? Is it really that hard? So yeah, kind of that funny. It's like, yeah, man, I create this totally cool, awesome invention, but all these, inept engineers around, they can't even follow this stupid blueprint. It just freaking pisses me off. Damn, and she literally clocks, that space creature hologram we see earlier, and it actually is, well, I guess, getting damaged by it. And she's like, the freaking island aircom is in the same damn boat. Its sensors can monitor living creatures. It could even tame the weather if I just had a bit more money. There are endless ideas, but enough resources and everything. The vines contain like waffles and fried chicken. And everyone else is like, wait a minute. She punched that hologram? And she's like, yeah, of course, my photonic gloves make it possible for me to interact with light. Well, the perception shapes your sense of reality, but touching a projection turns out in his head, does it? So Luffy is like, so these holograms aren't real, She's like, well, that debate makes something what's real and what's not something old as time. It's something you have to decide for yourself, which I've already considered that middle settle. So Jinbei's like, who are you? Oh, I'm just your regular scientific genius here, Dr. Vegapunk with Vegapunk, Punk 6, Punk Atlas, Wrath. Now, put a pin to that. Yeah, there are a lot of little pins I'm throwing out this chapter. But, Bonnie's like, wait a minute. Vegapunk, what the hell? There's no way. That's a total lie. And Luffy and Chopper are like, whoa, wait a minute. I remember Vegapunk. I've heard that name. Yeah, I remember when Kobe told me about it. Which, I'd be surprised that Luffy actually remembered something that Kobe said all the way in pre-time skip. Which, I'm just honestly surprised he remembers that. And I'm sure some of you guys forgot about that. But meanwhile, we go to the, I guess, like in the seas during the New World on a world government ship with the CP0. So we got Kaku, not Kaku. We got Lucci being like, so now what? And Kaku's like, just keep listening, Lucci. Vegapunk is technically still a single individual, but his genius is only second to his busyness. When there's not enough time, you know what they say, you're busy as a beaver, right? Well, just imagine if you're more than just one beaver. If you're, a grand idea to just split up into 6 different peoples. So, in other words, these satellites are also Dr. Vegapunk. And we get like this, I guess, little roadmap here where it's, you got the main body, Dr. Vegapunk, split into each 6 different punks. Punk 1, Punk 2, Punk 3, Punk 4, Punk 5, Punk 6. Where we got Logic, Shaka, Evil, Lilith, Flare, Edison, Wisdom, Gaudius? Oh god, why do I stop pronouncing things? 5, Wrath, Atlas, which, okay, I do have to talk about that. Then we got 6, Desire Yolk, and you know what, I'll talk about that in like a solid minute, but we're almost done with the chapter, so I'll get to that section right there with Lucci's responding this like, don't you think that I'm the only one who thinks this is just, well, weird for saying it impossible? These geniuses are just a pain. Well, and sure, our assignment is to return this problematic child back to Egghead Island, where we got one of the serifs of, the Kuma serif. Or, yeah, that's what it looks like. It has the wings and everything. Well, actually, this one doesn't have the white hair it should. And I mean, I don't know if it. I mean, I guess it looks younger. I mean, it does look smaller than how Kuma is. So, it probably is a serif, I guess. Yeah, I guess continuing on with what Lucci says, like, let's return this problematic child back to Egghead while taking care to not damage it or any of the other lad's precious assets. We're here to eliminate every single Vegapunk. So we're meant to kill the world's smartest men in the world, most useful men in the world. I wonder if this has something to do with the recent Lucia Kingdom incident. And then we got what's her name? Stussy. What was I saying? Oh yeah, and we got Stussy being like, so when your instincts know it's better not question things. And Kaku's like, agreed. Don't get us in any hot water, Lucci. And chapter ends in no break. Yeah, and no break, and chapter ends. So finally, let's get into the chapter discussion, which finally I can get to talking about Vegapunk, or Vegapunk. So yeah, I'll probably put the diagram of Vegapunk that we saw earlier, and I'll try to explain this to at least what I think is going on. So essentially what I think happened was Vegapunk essentially made 6 clones of himself. No, they aren't clones, but I do believe they do contain some of his DNA, or or the lineage or whatever. But either way, I do think they contain something from Vegapunk, or these beings are 6 created clones with. Well, I mean, they kind of have to be cyborgs with everything that we know from Vegapunk. So these 6 cyborgs take, I guess, aspects from Vegapunk to split them off. As we see, we got Vegapunk 1, Shaka, who is Logic, which is the one that we didn't see of, but just only the head of behind. And then we got Lilith, Evil, which is the one that we saw earlier, number 2, which interesting thing. I do think it's interesting that she's evil. That's the odd one that throws me off. We got number 3, Flare, which is Edison. Number 4 was oh god. Okay, I hope I don't mispronounce this again. Pythagoras. I think that's how you say it. Then here it's kind of weirdly listed where number 5 is Atlas Wrath, but if you let me scroll back up, she tells herself that, I am Dr. Vegapunk, Punk Atlas, and it has the number 6 on her clothing. So I don't know if that's like an error on Oda or something, or if they'll fix that in, because there's even a translator note there where it says, what does it say? Atlas here in the robe on the dress, it says number 6. So we'll update this once Viz clarifies. So maybe Viz will clarify it, or maybe it'll just be one of those things where in the Takumban or the volume release, they'll actually fix this out where if it turns out Alice is actually supposed to be 6 or actually 5 or whatever. But we'll just have to see about that in the future. And then last one, we got Yoke. I think that's how you say it. Which is Desire. So each of them represent something from Vegapunk. And the first one I do want to mention is Lilith. Lilith right here. Why? No, actually, before we no, okay. I'll talk about Lilith first. But yeah, Lilith. Why the hell is she evil? And I'm starting to think about this. Like, okay, evil in what kind of sense? And we see her, all about the money and trying to loot treasures and everything. And even Shaka, I think, says something along the lines of, why do you insist on looting? So that's very interesting. I think instead of it being a representation of evil, maybe she's the representation of, well, piracy to per se. That's at least from the feeling I'm getting at, or maybe she is supposed to represent, I guess, youth in a way. Maybe, who knows with that? But this is obviously when you go to logic. Shaka, it's very different. Where Shaka, I think. Well, here's the thing. Also, I think all of them have like at least the same, I guess, scientific capabilities, but you obviously got Shaka, who I presume to be, well, he is the logical thinking. He thinks about things very thoroughly. Like, well, it's very obvious that if you see that, Pirate Hunter Zoro and Demon and Robin, they're very calm about this situation. They're part of a Yonko crew and everything. I think you are not surrounding them. They're surrounding you. Kind of mentality. So, yeah. Also, he mentions we need to bring him here. I have an interest in that crew. I don't know if that's just him himself or Vegapunk in general. Because, like, the one thing I do... I wonder what exactly Vegapunk or the Vegapunks have interest-wise for, well, the Straw Hats and everything. Very, very, very interesting. I am definitely curious about that. And the last one we do get to see is Wrath. So, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense because she's like, oh yeah, thank you for visiting my wonderful things. It's like Luffy, hits her just to make sure she's real. She's like, and then, she gets freaking pissed like, oh yeah, this is a wonderful adventure, even though I can't mass produce it because the engineers aren't that great. They can't understand this shit. Oh, why do I have to be like that? So I guess she kind of understanding why that does fit with the sentiment of, well, wrath. But I guess also another thing I'm just like thinking about just from looks wise. Number 6, Wrath. I don't know if I mentioned it, but she has double hair. Like the hairs are split in the middle, kind of. Well, God, that whole thing is making me think of Uta. I was joking last time. It's like, oh my God, Vegapunk is Uta's mom. I mean, dude, we might find out that Uta's might be, I don't know, like freaking oh my God, Vegapunk is Uta's dad or mom or whatever. I mean, who knows? I mean, I haven't seen Film Red yet. Actually, I don't know if Uta is actually related to... God damn it, phone. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I don't know if Uta is actually related to Shanks or not, or it just Shanks found her. I'll probably have to watch the movie to find that shit out. But, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe Vegapunk really is. I'm just joking about that, but it is very interesting. At least the two ones we have seen. I mean, it's up in the air for Shaka, if he's a boy or a male or female. But at least just from what we've seen, they've all have, like, I guess, kind of a, well, more of a female-ish design, just at least from what I've seen. And wait, Does it have a freaking tail? Ah, shit, damn. I think freaking Atlas actually might have a goddamn tail. Very, very interesting. And also, I guess to that, their names. I don't think Oda just picked their names on accident. Like, honestly, I can't tell you exactly why they might have been chosen. Like, Wrath for Atlas. I can at least tell you Lilith because evil, because, because in obviously Christian mythology, she was the original wife of Adam, who later became essentially the first demon. I believe so. I mean, be fair, I think a lot of the mythology of Lilith comes from mistranslations. I think in the original Hebrew, she was like only mentioned once or something. But yeah, obviously a lot of people like to expand on that stuff, and that's why Lilith, and she's well known being the first demon, so that makes sense for evil. Alice for wrath, I guess so. I think that kind of makes sense, at least name wise. Edison for flare. Actually, that does actually kind of work because Edison, as you know, it's famously known that Edison didn't invent the light bulb. So, Edison just took that name for himself. It's all about the flair, the showmanship, essentially, I guess. So, I guess that kind of works for that. And Shaka for logic, maybe. Because I know Shaka from Saint Seiya. It's one of the characters from Saint Seiya. Because, God, I wish I could mention Saint Seiya more on this channel. But, yeah, I do know Shaka is a character from that series, and actually, I know his name is based off of something else in I think Buddhist mythology, but I just don't know on the top of my head. So I'm sure there's a connection with that and logic, and all of these other names like Yoke and I don't know, but. Yeah, I'm sure these are, specifically chosen to represent different things. To what extent, I don't know. Heck, even in this unofficial release, it's got a little extra page of, I guess, their theories on who, what, and everything. I didn't look at that. I took a quick glance, and there's that. But, yeah, I guess, speaking of Vegapunk and how all of this, I guess, cyborg cloning technology is working, we gotta talk about, the fact that CP0 is coming to essentially kill Vegapunk and all the other punks. So yeah, the CP0 is going after to kill Vegapunk. I mean, that does beg you to ask the question, why? And also, obviously they don't want to damage any of their stuff. So why would the world government, and probably the ROSA, want to kill Vegapunk? A couple of things I can think of top of my mind. One, a long-standing theory that, Vegapunk is secretly part of the Revolutionary Army. I think that has a decent, stand to it. So maybe the girl says we found out that Vegapunk is secretly working for, the revolutionaries. We need you to secretly assassinate him without destroying any of his equipment and stuff. Could be that. Or another very likely, one thing I'm thinking about is, if Vegapunk's technology is I think they say it's 300 years in the future or whatever. I think essentially that statement was back, during the Void Century or whatever, the world was, way more scientifically advanced. And I don't know, I'm having a feeling that the Gorosei know about this stuff and are okay, Vegapunk, he has a lot of good things for us, but he's catching up way too fast. We can't have that. So obviously his science is important very useful to the world government now, but we can't have him going any further or anything like that. So we're going to quietly assassinate him, or just quietly get rid of him, which makes sense. I get. I like that. Or either, well, I did hear them possibly maybe Vegapunk. He knows more than he should. With it either being, he knows more about the Gorosei and stuff that he's not supposed to know about. Either that, or he could be talking about ancient weapon or replicating it or whatever. Either way, he knows more than he should. Actually, I think I like that more. Him just knowing things way more in general that he probably shouldn't, even if it's things relating to or ancient weapons and stuff and everything. Maybe he's trying to replicate his own ancient weapon, and they're like, no, we can't have a copycat of ancient weapons. If one person can replicate it, the possibilities of many, that's not. We can't have that allowed. So there's that, and plus they obviously don't want any of his equipment destroyed, because even though they want him dead and gone for good, his technology is very useful, especially the serifs and all of the other things he's made. So they obviously want someone else to pick up his work, but who knows could that be? So yeah, they gotta be very careful on it. Which, wait a minute, I just realized something. So, let's kind of look at the factions we got here. We got the Straw Hats plus Bonnie, okay. Then we got the Marines with some, sword members that are probably coming to Egghead Island. And then, we got the Vegapunks. And then last, we got, CP0. Shit, dude, I think we got a 4-way. Well, not in that kind of way. But yeah, damn. Probably what will happen is the Straw Hats will team up with the Vegapunks. That'll probably what will happen. That's at least one I'm feeling. But either way, we could see like a 4-way battle between these groups. Even if in the middle of this we get Sword finally facing off against, CP0 and everything. And finally, Lucci comes back. I still think there's also an arguable case that, the Straw Hats won't fight against CP0 just yet. I think there's like a solid argument for that, but Many things could definitely happen. Hey, who knows? Even maybe Sword comes in and they team up with the Straw Hats, and maybe it's everyone teams up with the Straw Hats and CP0 and everything. Ooh, that could be very interesting. But yeah, we're definitely having some kind of conflict in some kind of way, even if it doesn't turn out to be a major battle or anything. That still begs the question, just the mystery of the world government getting rid of their useful asset. There's also I doubt Lucci would do anything, but Lucci's just wondering if this has to do something with the Lucia incident. So I wonder if there's something about in the future. Maybe he that can't be. Well, maybe. So yeah. Also, I do want to talk about the technology that we see from Punk number 5. Or 6, or goddammit, Punk Atlas that we see with the essentially the, what should you call them? The photonic gloves to make contact with, interact with light. Interact with light. I wonder if there's a Delafru that has light. Oh yeah, Kizaru. I do wonder if that in the future she gives the gloves to someone, the Straw Hats, or if, I don't know, maybe not Usopp, maybe if Frankie invents a weapon like that and gives it to one of these Straw Hats or whatever, and, well, its ability to interact with light itself. How interesting. How intriguing. Very interesting. Huh. I guess that's something interesting to think about as a power boost and something to kind of get them at an equal level. Because how the heck do you damage something that's made out of light? Well, I mean, hockey, since that's basically how you get it through the transparent weakness. So, fair enough, I guess. I mean, actually, wait a minute. That might be useful for Frankie himself. Because he doesn't know hockey or anything. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll be very interesting. All the possibilities. Also, I do like how, at least the technology of the island aircon invention, it's kind of an evolution of what Frankie saw not Frankie saw, but the idea of it he saw during his in-between time skip story that he got on Baltimore, where he was trying to develop, I guess, kind of to make the island cooler and everything. Not cooler, but warmer and everything, and to control the temperature. Essentially, it never went anywhere, but we see here that idea fully, realized here, which is very cool and interesting. I love that. And also the big ass food thing. Yeah, food all you want, man. I guess you are really getting your food here, Luffy and Bonnie and everything. And God, dude, I love that scene. Honestly, I kind of like the interactions with Bonnie throughout the chapter. And, as I said earlier, Bonnie, Kuma is Bonnie. Okay, let me say this right. Kuma is Bonnie's father. No, I mean, oh my god. Bonnie is Kuma's daughter. Yes, okay. Yeah, I got it. Or wait, was I always saying it right? But whatever. Yeah. Basically, Bonnie's father is Kuma and everything. So that's a very interesting point of detail. I mean, I'm really curious about the whole backstory between Kuma and Bonnie. I really can't give you any good theories what I think, but I'm having a guess. And she was here when it was nothing more than a small run-of-the-mill lab. I'm pretty sure back in the day it was just another island while they were using, Punk Hazard as probably the main lab before, it fucking exploded because of freaking Caesar or whatever. So probably in between that, he was like, "Whoa, do we have another lab? Oh yeah, I do have another lab. It's all the way over at Egghead Island. Well, time to science the shit out of it." So yeah, we got to that. And also, I don't know, just from the feeling I'm getting from Bonnie, I feel like she's actually seen Vegapunk, like the legit body of Vegapunk. When we see the Stella body, I'm sure she's going to be like, "Whoa, that's actually Vegapunk, the real Vegapunk." Oh yeah, dude, can't wait for that. And what else I can get to say? I guess that's really it with this end section. I mean, I could repeat what I said earlier with Zoro. I really don't know what Zoro's looking for, or not looking for, but what he wants from Vegapunk, if it's either a cure for the smiles or what's the deal with the dragons. I really can't think of anything else with that. I mean, I'm sure people can make freaking like a 15-minute video on that and all the different possibilities, but who knows? Dude, I can't wait to see all these different Vegapunks, and if eventually we get to see a full-on alliance with Vegapunk and the Straw Hats. No offense, but no goddamn way. We're going to get freaking, I don't know, Lilith or any of the other Vegapunks to be a crew member like, I think at worst, not at worst, I mean, at most, we probably would get one of them just, on the Straw Hat ships for, like, an island or whatever, in the same way that Momonosuke was just a part of the Straw Hats, but not being an official member. Maybe something like that, but I doubt Lilith would be like, well, I guess I'm joining your crew now, Straw Hat Luffy, but, yeah, I definitely love this chapter and everything it dropped and everything with Vegapunk. God, I just love this. I love this. All the interaction with the Straw Hats with Frankie. Frankie will essentially fanboying out and everything. And all the look of this new island and everything. God, I love it. And all the technology and whatever. It's perfect for a mad scientist as Vegapunk and the looming threat of the government going after him. It's we're getting in a possible 4-way, and yet again I have to remind you, not like that, but yeah, I guess that's really it. Oh yeah, I never really mentioned. Yeah, freaking Rob Lucci's coming back into the story and possibly facing off against Luffy or anyone else, but it's kind of weird to think about. But yeah, dude, I can't wait until next chapter. What's happening next? I don't know. But what I do know is, okay, I probably should be like doing the, hey, you should like this video. You should comment. And you should subscribe. I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but it's whatever. But yeah, I guess to end this video, I guess I'll see you guys next time when, we'll finally see how many more Vegapunks on this island and their technical, logical might. See you later. Yeah. Actually, let me get this. Boy. God, I do love this, what's this, Orange Dream Soda? God, I love vanilla orange in both their own distinct, flavor. I guess that's what you would say or call it.